gonna be working on the boat motor today. So we got a 45 horsepower classic 50 Mercury. We are swapping out from this Mercury Force 40 that we had. Lower unit went bad on it. So far we've put a stator in this thing already because right out of the gate it had no spark. It's got good compression. We've had it fired up, but now we're gonna put a water pump in it and see if we can get it to pump water. And I think we're gonna take this guy out here too. So we got 4 main nuts right there, and then one over here on the other side in order to drop this. So once you get all 4 of them nuts out, lower unit will just drop right out, and then we can get to the water pump. So we just take these 3 nuts off of this cover here, then you slide this cover on up, and I would say we found out why it's not pumping water too well. So in order to get this bottom piece out, it's kind of stuck in there with that bottom O-ring. I just took a pair of vice grips and grabbed onto that and just pried up on the vice grips there and got her to pop right out. So now that we got everything pulled out of there, we got the gasket cleaned up pretty good. Might need to do a little more wiping down in there, but we can start going back together with it. So here are all the old parts from top to bottom, tearing out the water pump, and then that's all the nuts that it takes to get the lower unit itself off. Here's all the new pieces, and you can see how much different that newer water pump looks compared to the old one. So this is just something I like to do when I'm putting O-rings in. I will take a small pick like this and go behind it and run all the way around, so that way you just know that the O-ring is set in there, and when it gets pushed down into the spot that it needs to be, it's not all twisted and turned or gets cut or anything. So when you're putting this first piece in, you do kind of have to be careful with it, but you do got to tap it in there a little ways to get the O-ring down there and to get seated. But you can just kind of look right down in there and see if you're all the way down. So now we got the plate that the pump actually rides on put in here. Getting ready to put the pump back in. We got the keyway, and I'm putting a little dab of grease on the back of it so that way it'll set right up in there and it'll kind of hold itself there, so when we slide the pump itself back over, it hopefully doesn't move on us. Okay, so now we got the top cover set down, we got the gasket in, got the pump in. Now we're just gonna spin the prop and push down on this so we can turn the water pump and get the water pump to set up into the housing. Okay, so there's a couple rubber bushings. You need to put this one in right there, and I got a little bit of grease in that, so that way when we go to put the water pipe in there, it hopefully slides in a little bit easier. Then there's this bushing here that goes on the shaft just to seal the top of that off. And then the 3 nuts are torqued to 60 inch-pounds, which is about 5 foot-pounds. I prefer to torque that stuff just so that way I know that it's evenly tightened and hopefully it'll hold up. Okay, so I used a ratchet strap to just kind of help support this just because I'm doing this myself. There's a couple things you gotta get lined up. You gotta get the shaft lined up, the right up in here. You gotta get the actual water pump line lined up, and then you gotta get the shifter linkage, which right there's the shifter linkage. So once you get it close, you get the water pump lined up, then you can start working on getting the shifter linkage lined up, and then get a nut started and get everything cinched up and tightened up, and you're good to go. All right, there she be. Got a good stream. I think we might need to clean the carburetors out yet. I'm not sure. It's kind of the first real run with it, so well, see what we're gonna do from here. So I just ordered the water pump for this thing here off of Amazon. I can link that down in the info section. The stator that I got on here actually is off another motor, but I can link that too from where I got that off of Amazon. I kind of was playing with the carburetors. It seems to be running okay now. But we got her all back together. We're gonna put the hood on and might have to take it out for a test ride.